Hello and welcome to this little video. The latest batch of Herpa Wings, the 0708 for 2022, has been announced or leaked or whatever you want to call it, but we have the information. What aircraft will be included in the 0708 batch, and that is what we will take a closer look at right here, right now. Alright, so we start off with a new A220-300 from Herpa Wings, and this time from Air Canada in the retro livery they have introduced a few years back, and now we finally will see that in scale 500. And we will actually get another retro livery aircraft in this batch, which is the American Eagle Embraer 170, which has been painted in the old American Eagle livery that was faded out and then basically brought back right away with this retro livery aircraft. An aircraft that I'm very excited about is the A319 of Croatia Airlines in their fully updated livery, so with the white belly. Yeah, very cool. It's been many years since we've last seen an Croatia Airlines aircraft model in scale 500, and it seems like we will finally get a new one this year if Herpa of course manages to release these models on time. Then we will see the first Embraer E2 model from Herpa Wings, and now we can also confirm that it is the 195, so the ERJ 195 E2 and not the 90. And in a house color livery of Embraer, it is the Tech Line or Profit Hunter livery. Sure, it is nice to see the first E2 now in scale 500. However, I would have loved to see the aircraft be in an airline livery, KLM or Helvetic Airways or something like that. Then there's something for retro fans that aren't just interested in retro liveries, but actually retro aircraft. We have the 727-100 in the Hapag-Lloyd livery. However, I think this aircraft has also been made by Starjets many years ago, and it will be interesting to see if Herpa can actually make a model that is better than what we have seen in the past. Honestly speaking, I'm doubting it. And then of course we have two aircraft models that people have been waiting for many years. It's the two LOT Embraer aircraft models that were originally, I think, announced in 2000 or had an announced release in 2017, and then after many years delay were cancelled, but with the promise that they would be re-released. Of course at a new price, which is, I mean, the prices here are dramatic. An Embraer ERJ 170 for nearly 30 euros retail price from Herpa Wings. That is absolutely insane. I mean, it's the same thing for the Air Canada and the American Eagle. I mean, all of these aircraft here are now retailing at 30 euros. The Hapag-Lloyd 727 even at 32 euros. I mean, yes, there's inflation and problems with shipping and stuff like that, but you just can't justify these prices. They are absolutely insane. Find a good shop where you get a discount from day one, because all shops will give you a discount from day one with this, because, I mean, no one can afford such prices. But it is still exciting that we finally will get these LOT Embraers. Knock on wood, of course, because Herpa can still manage to mess it up. So yeah, the Embraer ERJ 170 and the Embraer ERJ 195 in the livery of LOT. That will be quite lovely to see on people's airports and aircraft displays. And then another aircraft that I'm actually also quite excited about is the Royal Jordanian A319. Herpa had mentioned that they would make some more Middle Eastern narrow-body aircraft, and Royal Jordanian was an airline, I guess, that was very much on the cards because they have the license. But still, it's always nice to see A319s. We haven't seen enough of the A319 in the past from Herpa Wings, and I mean, with this batch we already have two here, so that's great. Yeah, Royal Jordanian livery I think looks really awesome. It does also look very nice on the A319. I don't think so, but I hope that they will fix the front landing gear, because it looks particularly bad on the A319. But I don't have high hopes for that, as I said. The first widebody is an A330-300 of Aer Lingus, retailing at 38 euros. My. I mean, sure, it is nice that Herpa makes Aer Lingus aircraft model. I would have preferred an ATR, to be honest. And especially the A330-300 doesn't really excite me that much, because some years ago we already got this aircraft model from Sky 500. And sure, of course, there is a chance that Herpa will make it better than the Sky 500 model, but I mean, who knows? And in any case, we have already seen this aircraft model in Sky 500, and there are so many other Aer Lingus aircraft models that Herpa could have made, but they went with the perhaps most obvious one. But okay. I'm sure there will be quite a few collectors that will be quite excited about that. Then we finally get a new Air Europa aircraft model. I guess the whole situation about the airline being purchased by IAG has now been solved, with the result that it doesn't look like they will be purchased by IAG. So Herpa is now again capable of making aircraft models of that airline, and they are starting off with the Dreamliner, the 787-9. Also here with a hefty retail price of 38 euros. Ay. And then a little bit for some Asian collectors, we have the Cebu Pacific Airbus A330-900neo. I mean, it's a colorful livery. I'm sure it will be something for some collectors, but I don't think this will be the model that sells very much, at least not in Europe. And then an aircraft model that I think pretty much everyone has been waiting for quite some time is, of course, the A380 from Emirates in the Expo livery, retailing at 40 euros. I mean, okay, I guess it could have, I mean, nowadays you have to say it could have been much worse with such a livery. I wouldn't have been surprised if Herpa had set a retail price at 45 euros, but 40 euros is still, of course, quite a bit for an A380. But anyways, it is of course an aircraft and a livery that people have been waiting for, so it is good to see that Herpa will make it. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of that livery, so I will probably skip it, but I know there will be many out there that will be quite excited about it. And then Herpa is giving us the very first aircraft model in Scale 500 of a Eurowings Discover. Personally, also here, I would have preferred to see an A320 first before we get an A330, but Herpa likes their wide bodies, so they decided to go with that. And then we get another TAP Air Portugal aircraft model. Also here, I must say, I would have hoped for another aircraft type. Perhaps, for example, an A321neo in the standard livery instead of just the retro livery, which we got earlier this year. But we get yet another A330-900neo. I think this is the third or fourth one we've seen now. So we definitely have already had a chance to build up quite a fleet of this aircraft type. We get another one, which is the TAP Portugal, up for another 75 years livery, or with this sticker added to the aircraft, of course, celebrating the anniversary of the airline. But yet again, I would probably have preferred an A321neo standard livery, or maybe an ERJ in the standard livery. That would have been really cool, but yet again, an A330neo. And then the last aircraft we have in Scale 500 in this batch is this 10 tanker, the McDonnell Douglas DC-10. I mean, the livery looks very, very interesting, and of course there are always collectors that like these a little bit more special aircraft that aren't just the box standard passenger or freight aircraft. So there's also something for those collectors in this batch. Personally, I never really go for these aircraft, but I know there are some that will probably be very excited about this. So yeah, another DC-10, but in this case in a rather special configuration. And although I normally don't really look at Scale 200 aircraft models that much here, but I would like to highlight that we can of course see here that Herpa has announced the KLM E2. I guess it's not that surprising. There are very strong hints that we will also get it in Scale 500, but the fact that we get it now in Scale 200 is, I think, as close as we can get to a confirmation that we will also see this in Scale 500 going forward, hopefully already in this year, but let's see what Herpa comes up with later this year. And another model that I would like to highlight here is the German Air Force A321neo, because I personally think it looks really, really great in this grey livery. And of course, we will most likely get this aircraft in Scale 500 before the Scale 200, because it has already been announced. So also here, knock on wood, let's hope that Herpa doesn't mess it up. But yeah, I think this could also be a quite interesting Scale 200 aircraft model, which I might get, but let's see what happens and when it actually will hit shelves around the world. All right, so honestly speaking, I think it is a quite strong batch. There's a little bit for at least most collectors. We have with the DC-10 tanker, we have something a little bit special. We have, of course, at least one aircraft for Asia. Something we have a little bit of North American, of course, a huge chunk of European aircraft in this batch. And I mean, some aircraft that we have been longing for a long time. We get Croatia Airlines. I honestly did not see that coming. We get two A319s in the batch. So yeah, a little bit around the world is in this batch. And of course, I think there are many that are very excited for the A380 of Emirates in the Expo livery. I haven't really mentioned one thing, and that is, of course, because it is snap-fit, which I never really review, but in this batch, there are 3 snap-fit models of Condor Airlines in their new really dreadful livery. I mean, they look even worse on the models than in real life. I don't know how they managed to do that, but yeah, this is definitely something that you will never see on this channel because it is simply too ugly for this channel. So what do you think about this batch? Are there some aircraft models there that you say, I just have to get, I can't live without? Or do you think, come on Herpa, what are you doing? Why didn't you do this model or that model? Let me know all that in the comments section below. Of course, if you like this type of content, then do feel free to leave a like, that would be very much appreciated. And of course, if you're new around here, why not hit subscribe? Now with that, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.